Oh, yeah, my name's Ed Hendrickson, and I was born in 1920 on November 14th.
Ready to talk about skiing?
What about it? What do you want me to say? What can I say about skiing? Well, I think it's here to stay. Well, I started skiing when I'm going to say about two and a half. It was over in Pownell, Maine, at my grandmother's house. It had a nice little pair of skis, about this big. And so I got on, and because I couldn't more than walk anyway, but I walked on snow with the skis. That was my first experience. Now, the next most experienced thing was I was 4 or 5, and there's a hill near where we lived. It's called Oak Grove, and there was a gravel pit there, and the gravel pit is quite steep. So the kids talked me into going down there, and I wasn't really ready for it. But I went down, and at the bottom there was a little hole in the ground, so I went into the hole, and my skis stuck in, and then I went forward, and my head stuck in the snowbank. And the kids finally got me out, but I never cried so much in my life. They finally, when they got me out, why, I hurried and went home crying to my mother that I don't want to ski anymore.
Did your parents ski?
I think my mother had when she was young. Whether my father did it or not, I have no idea. Because I know when he and his brother Dick, they lived in North Dakota. They homesteaded in North Dakota. And they must have skied when they were there because they get a lot of snow out there too.
Did you ski during the war?
No. See, no, I don't think I was even ever on a pair of skis during the war. I didn't start skiing again until after we were married, and I think I was going to school over at Gorham. And Effie and I, we went skiing a couple of times. But prior to that, this would be probably in high school, we used to have to walk, 4 or 5 miles to get to a decent hill to ski on. So you go and you'd ski, and of course you were a little bit tired. And there was one place in particular, there was a barn there, right in the middle of the hill. So several of us went in there and had a good nap in the haymow because we was tired. And then, of course, you have to wake up, get yourself stirring, go around, then ski all the way back home, which was about 4 or 5 miles. I really used to like to jump. Before that time, I even went up to a hill and made a ski jump myself. I was all alone and jumped, so I jumped a few times. And then one time when I jumped, I didn't land quite right. My ski kind of bent over underneath me, and it hit right on the bony part, the very tip of your bone there. I had to lay there probably for 15 minutes before I could get myself so I could get untangled and get out of there. So that ended my ski jumping there for quite a while. After I got through college, I went to work at East Millinocket. My wife, Effie, worked at the mill as a nurse, and I was a teacher. So I'd been there about 3 or 4 years, and Effie and I both skied. So I taught some of the kids in my class, which is industrial arts, so there were mostly men and boys in it, and to see if they were interested in having a ski team. So of course they were. So I got permission from the Great Northern Paper Company to build a ski area just outside of town. So they had a rope tow, but they furnished the engine for it and the whole cussed thing. So Great Northern helped us a lot. So the first thing after we'd been skiing there for a while, and I didn't know much about racing, the first meet we had Fort Kent, who had a ski team for quite a while, come down because they were looking for anyone to compete against. And those kids from Fort Kent, they had the best equipment that you ever saw in your life. So our poor kids, we didn't have a ghost of a chance to win anything. But they all had a good time, so that was when we really got started skiing then.
Fort Kent had all the newest equipment. What was that like at that time? What was new equipment like?
Well, our boots that we had were basically almost like gum rubbers. There wasn't anything to them, and we might have used just a strap over the toe to hold them in. Well, they had some of the next line of ski equipment. Your toe would fit in, and then they'd have a strap that'd come around the back of the foot, and one strap over it, so it would hold your feet there and pretty much in place. Then you and Ellen and Eric came along then, and you both learned to ski on, it was called Hathaway Hill, Hathaway Mountain or Hathaway Hill. That's why you both learned to ski. Of course, Eric was older, so he started sooner. I think we've got a picture of Eric using the rope toe. So, and that slope is not in existence anymore. After that time, we outgrew it. So when the kids were old enough, Ellen and Eric, well, we used to go skiing over to Squaw Mountain, over near Greenville. Effie's sister Ellen and her family, they had a chalet over at Sugarloaf, so we all went over there several times.
When did you get your first pair of skis with metal edges?
Gee, not until you and Eric were growing good. I had them, I think I had them when we went to Squaw, I think.
When did you first ski at Big Rock?
Oh, I was trying to think of that the other day, because it was pretty near when we first moved up here. They had a place called Quagga Joe, but it wasn't the one that's near Presque Isle now. It was at the mountain, Quagga Joe Mountain, where there's a lake there.
Oh, okay.
And then they decided that it was, I think that was state property or something. I just don't remember. And that's about the time they built the place down in Mars Hill. And so they gave up the mountain and just had this place at Mars Hill. So that must have been around, what was when you were little? 1960.
When did you ride your first chairlift?
That would have been Squaw Mountain. That was a double chair. And it did go the whole length of the mountain, up to the very top.
Do you like the ski equipment of today better, or do you like the ski equipment from 1925 better?
I like the old time stuff.
Yeah.
Just a pair of nice heavy wool pants on. And that was it. Heavy wool clothes, a Mackinaw.
And you hate wearing Gore-Tex.
Gore-Tex.
You know.
Oh God, I hate those cussed things.
What's the best improvement in skiing?
The best part about skiing now is the grooming of the trails.
How many pairs of gloves do you think you went through as a kid on rope toes?
Well, probably a pair or two. Yeah. I always got the same kind of gloves, that deer hide, and not lined. Then you say you had to have mittens on them. But all in all, I think skiing was the greatest sport there is, I think. I don't know what you can do with this stuff. That's not very good. I'm not a good speaker anyway. I
Yes, you
can't
are.
talk.